Thinking about buying the crucial P3 Plus? You've seen the high ratings, the big speed promises, the trusted brand name. But here's what surprised me. After weeks of real-world testing, I'm telling you, don't buy the crucial P3 Plus. At least, not until you watch this honest review of the serious problems and compromises you need to know about. For the best price, click the link in the description. Let's be clear from the start. This isn't a bad drive. With a 4.8-star rating on Amazon and a price around $200, it's clearly working for a lot of people. It promises fast Gen 4 performance up to 5,000 megabytes per second, a spacious 1 TB capacity from a trusted brand like Micron, and it even throws in some free software. It sounds like the perfect upgrade. But here's the contrarian snapback. The advertised speed is a bit of a magic trick, and the technology inside this drive forces it to make a huge sacrifice that most competitors don't. Therefore, if you're buying this for anything beyond the most basic file storage, you might be setting yourself up for frustration. Welcome to the deep dive. We're going to peel back the marketing and look at what the crucial P3 plus 1 TB PCIe Gen 4 NVMe SSD really is. First, the good stuff. The specs on paper are solid for a budget Gen 4 drive. Sequential read speeds up to 5,000 MBs, writes up to 4,200 MBs. It's built with Micron 3D NAND. It has broad compatibility working in both Gen 4 and Gen 3 slots, and it's rated for over 1.5 million hours mean time to failure. Installation is a breeze if your system has an M.2 slot. It also comes with Acronis True Image Cloning software, which is genuinely useful for transferring your old drive, and a 1-month trial for Adobe Creative Cloud. For the average user who just wants their computer to feel snappier, this seems like a win. But here is the first major problem: the technology behind these speeds. The crucial P3 Plus uses what's called QLC NAND flash. Now most higher performance SSDs, even many budget ones, use TLC NAND. Think of TLC NAND like a spacious, well-organized parking garage where your data parks. QLC NAND is that same garage, but they've squeezed in 50% more cars. The benefit: cheaper cost per gigabyte for the manufacturer, which is why you see a great price. The huge downside: performance can tank dramatically once the drive's cache is full. Therefore, let me explain this cache. The drive has a small, super-fast pool of memory it uses for incoming data. When you're copying a 20 GB game file, it rockets into that cache at the full 4,200 MBs speed. But once that cache is full, and on a 1 TB QLC drive, that cache isn't very big, the speed falls off a cliff. We're talking dropping from thousands of megabytes per second to hard drive-level speeds, sometimes below 100 MBs. This isn't a maybe. It's a guarantee with large, sustained file transfers. It's like a sprinter who can run a 100-meter dash in record time but has to walk the marathon. So who does this affect? If you're just installing Windows, loading apps, and browsing the web, you might never notice. Your boot-ups will be quick, app launches faster. The drive is designed for what Crucial calls everyday performance and home users. But the moment you try to do anything involving large, continuous writes, you hit the wall. Editing a large video project and saving the final render. Transferring a folder full of 4K movies from another drive. Moving your entire game library. That's when the P3 Plus shows its true colors, and they are not the vibrant, fast colors from the box. It's more of a buffering wheel beige. Rehook. But what about those amazing 5,000 MBs read speeds? Are those fake too? Stick around, because the way the drive achieves that number is a masterclass in marketing. Let's talk about the second problem: real-world versus synthetic benchmarks. Yes, in a perfect, controlled lab test with ideal conditions, the drive can hit a peak of 5,000 MBs read. But that's a sequential read speed, meaning it's reading one gigantic, contiguous block of data. Your computer almost never does that. What matters more for your actual experience are random read-write speeds, the tiny, scattered operations of opening programs, loading game levels, and running your operating system. This is where the P3 Plus, compared to other drives in its price range, often falls behind. Its everyday responsiveness isn't bad, but it's not best in class. Therefore, you're paying for a Gen 4 drive that, in many real-use scenarios, performs like a good Gen 3 drive. It's like buying a sports car that's only allowed to drive in school zones. You have all this potential speed you can barely use. And with the QLC slowdown on writes, you have a drive with a serious personality disorder. It's a sprinter and a snail sharing the same body. Now for a joke to lighten the mood. This drive's performance is so variable, it could give a mood ring an identity crisis. 1 minute it's feeling speedy and blue, the next it's sluggish and, well, still blue because it probably overheated a little. Which, by the way, is another thing. While it doesn't get dangerously hot, it can get warm under sustained load, so good case airflow is a friend. Let's look at the competition. For around the same $200 price point, you can often find drives from brands like Samsung, Western Digital, or even Crucial's own slightly more expensive P5 Plus, which use TLC NAND. These drives don't suffer the same drastic write speed penalty. Their performance is more consistent. They may have slightly lower peak sequential read numbers on paper, but their overall performance profile is more robust. You're getting a better engineered parking garage for your data. But wait, you might be thinking, the reviews on Amazon are glowing. People love it. That's the third point, context. Most Amazon reviewers are upgrading from an old hard drive or a very slow SATA SSD. For them, any NVMe SSD is a mind-blowing, life-changing upgrade. The jump from 100 MBs to 3000 MBs is so massive that they never encounter the QLC slowdown, or if they do, they don't recognize it. Their frame of reference is different. Therefore, if you're coming from a decent Gen 3 NVMe drive already, the upgrade to the P3 Plus might feel sideways, or even a step back in some workloads. Rehook. So is there any scenario where I would recommend buying this drive? The answer might shock you, because after all this criticism, I'm about to give you a very specific green light. This brings us to the resolution. The goal of this review isn't to trash a product, but to arm you with the truth so you can make the right decision. The Crucial P3 Plus has a very clear, specific ideal user. It's perfect for someone on a tight budget who is making their first jump from a hard drive to an NVMe SSD. It's excellent as a secondary game storage drive, where you write the game once and then mostly read from it. The high read speeds are great for loading game assets. It's a fantastic drive for a basic office PC, a parent's computer, or a home server where large, sustained writes are rare. If that describes you, then the P3 Plus represents good value. You get the Micron reliability, the decent warranty, the helpful software bundle, and that initial speed feel for a lower price. For those uses, I can say go for it. Click the link in the description for the best price on Amazon. But if you are a content creator, a power user who regularly moves huge files, a video editor, or someone who wants the most consistent performance possible for their primary drive, you should look elsewhere. Spend the extra $20, $30 on a TLC-based drive. Your future self, staring at a slow file transfer bar, will thank you. Here's another joke. Choosing the P3 Plus for video editing is like using a garden hose to fill an Olympic swimming pool. It'll start strong, but you're going to be there for a while, questioning all your life choices. Let's end on a positive note. Crucial and Micron are fantastic companies. They make reliable products. The P3 Plus achieves exactly what it set out to do. It brings Gen 4 NVMe pricing down to an accessible level for the mainstream. It's not a scam, it's a trade-off. By understanding that trade-off, accepting lower sustained write speeds for a lower price, you can buy it with confidence, knowing exactly what you're getting. It's a competent drive for a specific purpose. Final joke. This drive is the reliable, economical sedan of the SSD world. It won't win any drag races against the sports cars once the light turns green for the 10th time in a row, but it will get you to work every day without costing a fortune. And sometimes that's all you need. In summary, don't buy the crucial P3 Plus if you need consistent, high-speed performance for large file work. Do buy the crucial P3 Plus if you're a casual user, a first-time upgrader, or need a budget-friendly secondary drive for games and media. Know the QLC limitation and you won't be disappointed. For the final, best price on Amazon and to see current discounts, click the link in the description below. Thanks for watching this honest review.